All right, so you're welcome.
Okay,
Is our
we are
final
back.
session, right?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to play the video for our next speaker and final speaker, and we'll be out of the studio. Theodose will be here. Thank you.
All right, so our next speaker is
Kunle Ologe has a passion for developing people, especially the youth, as he has discovered that if directed properly early enough, people will more often than not utilize their God-given talents and contribute meaningfully to the society. He is a marriage counselor and author of the book, Building Your Marriage Plan. Kunle is currently a banker working with Zenith Bank PLC. He currently heads the law school branch of the bank. In his 15 years of banking, Kunle has built skills in project management, budgeting, organization, administration, marketing, and staff training, amongst others. Prior to joining Zenith Bank, Kunle worked in Impact Consult Limited as a personal assistant and researcher. While in this employment, he worked on both the Presidential Committee on Tourism Master Plan and the Market Fire Campaign of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Kunle has also served as a teacher in the LCCN Bible College, where he taught geography at senior secondary level. Ladies and gentlemen, Kunle Ologe.
we're ready
You're
for our
muted,
final
Theodose.
session. No, I'm not. Can you hear
Go
me?
ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you. Go on, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So yes, we're ready for our final session with Mr. Kunle Ologe, and he's somewhere in the room. He's going to join us, right about now. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Theodose.
Thank you for joining us in this session. And I guess we have saved your session for the last because it's going to, be mind blowing again. You're going to be discussing the entire subject of this session, of this conference, the involved father. And it will be great to hear from you, sir. Thank you so much for coming. The floor will be yours from now.
Okay, thank you very much, Dozie. I hope I can be heard. Good evening, everybody. And I'm glad to be here in the TIP Fathers Conference. We had a beautiful time last year. And this year again, we are having, or we have had in the past, how many days, very, very explosive. I've not been able to catch up with every single one of the teachings, but for the many that I've caught, it has been a wonderful time. And I want to thank everybody who has been a part of this thus far. I want to especially thank Wendy, my wife. I can't stop saying well done for all that you have done. I remember when this journey started a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago. I know where it started from, and I know where it is now. I've seen the impact that your academy has had on parents worldwide, and I am proud to say that I have been part of this, and I say well done, well done, well done. So good evening again, everybody. My name is Kunle Ologe, and I'll be here talking about the involved father, the involved father. Now, we've been having teaching since Friday on this general theme of the conference this year. And one thing that I have discovered from all the teachings is that there's a wake-up call. There's a wake-up call to all fathers everywhere in the world to say, hey, fathers, your wives are taking over the role of the father. And, this role is a role that can't really be taken over by anybody else because it's a role that was created for the fathers. So there's a place for the fathers, there's a place for the mothers, there's a place for the children, and there's a place for everyone. And so there has been a wake-up call since we started on Friday for fathers to wake up to their responsibility to be involved in the upbringing of their children. And specifically today, I'm going to focus, narrow down on that theme, the involved father. What is it to be involved? It's to become a part of something. That is what it is to be involved. And so every father needs to be a part of the upbringing of their children. It was not meant for just the mothers, it's meant for the fathers. In fact, it's actually meant for the fathers first. And this is why even in the Bible, you would see that on several occasions, God asked for the conduct of the children from the fathers. For example, in the case of Eli and his sons, God asked Eli, and eventually he fell for it. So the father has a central role in the upbringing of his children, and the father must be involved. So let's kick off. I know we've had some of this, but for me today, it's just like a summary of what we've been hearing since this conference started. And, I'm just going to try and put everything together, make it practical, and then we go that way. So, the father. Who is the father? The father is the beginner and the head of every family. The father is the beginner and the head. You see, that first phrase, the beginner, is so important. Every family starts with a father. It is a man that wakes up and decides, oh, it's time for me to get married. And he goes, looks for a wife, gets married, and then they now have the children together. So the father is actually the beginner and the head of the family. So important is this that God created man first, and then afterward created woman to help the man. So you see, the role of parenting really is first for the father. The woman is there to help. Of course, the woman's help is now so important because, for all of us fathers here, I know I can imagine how tough it is for us to do some of the things that our wives do. But then you must understand that that is your primary role. There's this saying that you can delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility. So yes, we delegate some of the authority to carry out some of these roles. We delegate it to our wives, to the mothers. But the responsibility at the end of the day is ours. We are the ones who God is going to require of us a summary of what we have done with both our wives and our children. So the father is the beginner. The father is the one who sets the standard for a family. That's my second definition of a father. A father is one who sets the standard for a family. So when I go out there and I see children behaving in an unruly way or in a way that does not really edify, I've already determined in my head that that's the standard of the father. So the father is the standard of the family. So what your children are today or tomorrow is the standard that you have set for them as a father. So the father is the standard of the family. What else do we say, or who else do we say is the father? Now this one, I put this one, much behind, because fathers just jump into this role very comfortably and they're okay with it. And all the speakers have spoken about this. The father is the provider. The father is the provider. So yes, I know for men, this one comes naturally. We just want to provide and walk away. No, 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 no. Provision is just a part of it. Yes, that is part of what a father is, but it's not the ultimate. The ultimate one is the first one. The father is the beginner and the head of the family. And then lastly, from my own definition of who a father is that the father is the binder of the family. The father is the one who binds that family together. In fact, I think is the Latin word for father, the Latin meaning of father, that husband, if I get it correctly, means a band, a metal band, that holds things together. So the father is actually the one who binds the family together. So should a family disintegrate, fathers, that's your fault. The father is the binder of the family. So for me, these 4 aspects are what determine or what describe or what define for me who a father is. So a father is so important, very, very important. Everybody looks up to the father. So a father is not just being able to give birth to a child. It goes beyond that. You would need to raise the child. And so I'm so happy with this conference because it's an opportunity for us to learn. And you see, learning is a lifelong experience. We never stop learning. And for me and my wife, we've been learning all the years so far. For us, taking courses, reading books on parenting, marriage, and all that comes naturally because we know we need this to be able to come out well at the end of the day and say, yes, we were successful in our marriage, in our parenting. So taking courses, reading books, researching, these are things that you shouldn't take for granted. That you brought a child to the world does not mean that you have automatically succeeded as a father. You are going to need to carry that child from that baby point to when the child is an adult. And fathers need to be center in this. And so, of course, I've heard a lot of arguments of people saying that, well, we have single mothers. So are you saying that being a single mother is bad? No, I mean, being a single mother is not readily the choice anybody will make. Circumstances cause that. But then, if you are a single mother, you need to look for a father figure for your children. It could be an uncle. It will be a relative. It could be a friend. Somebody who will. This is so, so important because you cannot take away the father's role in the upbringing of children. And the Intentional Parents Academy has the blueprint, the Involved Father Blueprint. It will be coming out, launching, I think this week, Wednesday, we'll be launching that. And it will be a good tool for every father to have. So every father who is watching, listening to me right now, world over, please look out for that. It's going to come out. I'm sure you get in your mails and so on. And get a copy of that. This will help you to form some kind of structure for what it is that you need to do. And everything, most of all that we've been speaking on since Friday, will be encapsulated in that. So that's a very, very important tool that every single father must get. It pains me when I see children who don't turn out well. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, where was the father? Or where is the father? Was the father involved in raising this child? What did the father do wrong? What did the father not get right? So every father must be involved in the upbringing of their children. So please don't stop learning, don't stop reading, don't stop researching. And the TIP has made some of these things easy. This blueprint, for instance, that is coming out on Wednesday will be a tool that will make these steps easy for us. And you would know what to do part-time. So let's dig into the roles of a father. How does a father get involved in raising children? How does a father get involved in raising children? And for this, as I'm talking about this, I'll be giving you personal experiences. Some of them funny, some of them not so funny, but all together have been able to make me a happy father. Someone who can look at my kids and say, yeah, I think I'm doing a good job. I think they're turning out well. So, for me, the first thing I would like to look at where fathers need to be involved is being the priest in the home. Every father must be the priest. Every father must be the spiritual head of the home. This is not something you leave to the mothers. And I see it time and again where mothers are struggling to be the spiritual heads of the home. Unfortunately, that's not their role. That role is for the father. And you see, there are so many things that children look up to the father unconsciously because that's the way they are created. Something inside them is waiting for the father to come out and say things and do things and charge and lead. And when that thing is not there, there is always a problem. So the father must be involved in the spiritual lives of the children. The father must learn to pray for his kids. And oh, I pray for my kids so much. In fact, before they were born, when they were in their mother's womb, I used to pray almost every single night for them. People see my kids now and say, how are they turning out so well? Well, part of the secret is that I prayed for them. So every father must learn to pray for their children. There's nothing that substitutes the prayer of the father. The prayer of the pastor cannot substitute the prayer of the father. The prayer of the father is so important. And if we look at the Bible, you will see that at every point in time, when the father is about to go, or even before he goes, at several points, the father is always praying for the children. And eventually, when he's going, he blesses them. So the role of the father being the prayer, will I want to call prayer contractor for the kids, is so important. Every father must pray for his children. Another thing, or another way to get spiritually involved in the life of your children as the priest of the home, is to prophesy over your children. You see, many fathers don't know it, but what you prophesy over your children come to pass. And that's why when I see fathers insulting their children and calling them all kinds of names, you see, God has given you that authority to be able to call the names of things, and that is what they will be. If you remember in the book of Genesis, at the very beginning, when Adam was created, God directed all the animals to him, and everything he called them, he says that whatever name he named them, that is what they were called. God didn't change it. If he named it cow, then it was a cow. If he named it horse, then it was a horse. If he named it whale, then it was a whale. So God just acknowledged everything that Adam named the animals. And even woman, when the woman came out, he named her. He was the one that named and said, this is the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh. I will call her woman. God didn't change it. So for fathers, be careful what you speak upon the heads of your children, because every word you speak on it spiritually binds on them. So you must learn to prophesy good things to your children. And you know, an interesting story, when my children were born, I have a set of twins and a foster daughter. When my twins were born, I was told it was the custom, or is the custom of my church, that the fathers will pray for the children during the naming. And oh, I was prepared that I wanted to pray over my children. And so I prayed. And you know, that is one prayer that I always remember now, because I did it so heartily from the bottom of my heart. And I prayed for my son, and I said that he's going to be as strong as Samson. And I prayed for my daughter, and I said she's going to be as wise as Solomon. You know what? That is who they are right now. So my son and my daughter, they're 11 years old, but my son can lift up a full-grown adult comfortably. The other day, I was telling him to help me lift a ladder, you know, one of these foldable ladders, you know, with different sections. And I watched him. He lifted it up effortlessly, and I smiled. That was what I prophesied on him, among other things, of course. And my daughter, oh, she is so wise. Her counsel is out of this world. When she analyzes things for you, you just have to wonder. Those were prophecies. So fathers, watch what you say on the heads of your children. Prophesy good things. That is part of you being involved in the lives of your children. Again, you need to teach your children about God. Don't go out there feeling that you are just going to be a cover for them for life. No. There's a time when they're going to be, you'll be a cover on them, but there's a time they're going to go out there into the world. It is the knowledge that you have given them they're going to use. Part of that knowledge is the knowledge of God, who God is, so that they can have a personal relationship with God. Teach them, guide them, push them towards God. Let them know God and teach them how to. Teach them to read their Bibles, teach them to pray on their own, so that at the end of the day, they know who God is. And this is something that my wife and I have continuously done, and we're still doing for our children. And I try to take a forefront in that. So that's the first role of the father, how we need to be involved in the raising of our children. The next thing I'm going to talk about is play. 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 Now, this is a part where several fathers have a challenge, and I can tell you, I don't have a challenge with it. Maybe because my own father played with us, so it was not and is not a problem for me. So in the home, for your children, you are the standard of play. You know, we have a lot of adults now who don't know how to play, and so everything for them is serious. And even in their marriages, they have issues because they can't play with their wives. And speaking of that, I'm primarily a marriage counselor, and I have these 20 fun things to do with your spouse that I launched sometime some months ago, and it's online. You can get it. And, you know, it just helps couples to play with each other, because play is an integral part of everything we are as human beings. So that standard of play is going to be set by you. If your children don't see you playing with them, they're going to end up as people who don't know how to play. So yeah, they will play because they're kids, but they don't know how. You didn't teach them. Part of the way to teach them how to play is to be the clown, the fun person in the house. You're the one who should make everybody laugh. I see many homes that when the fathers come in, everybody becomes serious. All of a sudden, everybody becomes serious. It's as if they are in the military. It shouldn't be like that. When I come home, my kids are excited. They start playing with me. My son gets into my car until I drive in. They start telling me about school, start telling me about things that are happening. And I'm laughing with them, I'm playing with them. And before you know what's happening, I'm hearing, Daddy, let's go and play table tennis. That's because I've set that as a standard. So I try as much as possible to be the fun in the house. For my children, and of course for my wife. So you must bring the laughter to the house. Another way of playing with your children, ensuring that you have that culture of play with your children, is to allow your kids to play. There are a lot of homes where kids are not allowed to play. And so in my home, kids like coming to my home. My children's friends always like to come here instead of the other way around, because we allow them to play. Children are children. And in Wendy's book, Connect to Correct, she speaks a lot about this. And
Okay, looks like we're having some technical challenge with Mr. Kunle's audio. Let's see what happens and hope that he gets back here on time. In the meantime, I've been making some notes, and I hope that you are. He has made some very great point. This issue about priesthood keeps coming up. The fact that men are supposed to be priests in the house, and it struck me when he said it is very painful to see children, young people that are not turning out right. And most of the time, more times than you can count, when you check, it's always a problem with fatherhood. So the whole essence of this conference and the conversations that we have had over the weekend is that parents, fathers particularly, should begin to get involved in the lives of their kids. Okay, and he started by saying the father is the beginner. If I got that right, yes, is the beginning and the head of every home. Nobody cajoled you into taking up the responsibility of fatherhood. And to those that are yet to become, fathers in a biological sense, you want to give that a thought, that before you begin the journey of fatherhood, you are ready for that responsibility. I like the way Wendy says it. Wendy would always say, parents are co-creators with God. When you decide to get into that responsibility of co-creation with God, you want to be sure what you are getting yourself involved with. You want to be sure what you're getting yourself involved with as a co-creator with God. Are you ready to create the kind of children? Are you ready to create the kind of persons, the kind of individual that you're going to be proud to say, oh, this one is me? Yeah, was it Pastor Osiri in his session was talking to us, and he said, okay, I think he's back now.
Not
Oh,
yet.
that is
I am here.
okay.
But I think he's coming on as soon as possible.
Okay. Yeah, the weather, it started raining. I don't know if it's the
Go
same
ahead.
on your end. So okay.
He's going to come back on soon. Not back in the studio
All right.
yet.
All right.
I'm not in the
All
same
right.
location in the house.
Okay. So
I guess
I
we'll
was
be connected soon.
yeah. I was just trying to do a recap and pulling us back to what Pastor Osiri said. When people ask questions, usually they don't ask who gave birth to that child. Most of the time, it is who raised the child. Who raised the child? So you want to be that father that will be proud of saying, "This person, this one, I raised this one. This person is my offspring. This is my product." And maybe they're not even your biological children. Okay. Mr. Kunle is back in the studio. Welcome back, sir.
okay,
You can
I hope
continue.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. I'm so sorry about that. Don't know what happened to my internet. I had to change to another platform. So
All right.
let's continue. So I was talking about play. Yeah. And I was saying that, we've set such a standard, which I initiated in the house, and it makes my children's friends want to come here to be, to play here, because we've made the environment conducive for play. We allow our children to play. And I was saying that if you don't have the book Connect to Correct, That is one book that you must get. Everybody must get that book, Connect to Correct. Every single person must have that book. That book tells you that a child is a child. So don't treat a child like an adult. Let the child have his childhood. Let the child have her childhood. A child is a child. So allow the children to play. And then teach them to play safe. Teach them to play safe. You see, it is in you getting involved in play that you can tell them, oh, it's not right to hit. It's not right to insult. You know, things like that are taught by you. Things like that are actually taught by the standards that you keep. And you can't keep those standards if you yourself are not playing with them. So you must learn to play and be the standard of play. Remember what I said? The father is the standard in the house. So be that standard of play. Teach them how to play safe. Teach them sportsmanship. You need to get involved in this. Oh, there are times I get back home and I'm tired, and my son is a play master. He loves to play. And there are sometimes he tells me, oh, daddy, please, can we just go out and play football? Can we just go out and play table tennis? Yeah, there are some days that I'm too tired to do that. But there are other days that I just drag myself and say, look, I'm the standard. This is what this boy is going to remember in the future. This is how he's going to play with his own children also. This is how he's going to be able to play with his wife and everybody else. And so I drag myself and I try to play. So fathers, you must be involved in play. I'm emphasizing this play because this is a tough one for many fathers. Many fathers don't know how to play. They only know how to be the judge in the house. No, you must be part of the play. And even for your daughters, it's so important that you set the standard. A lot of girls get into trouble because they don't even know the standard. They don't know where limits are. They don't know what not to allow somebody to do, what to allow somebody to do. You need to be that standard. So it's even more important for your girl child for you to be able to play with them. Teach them play and teach them good play. Of course, I can hear voices now. Some fathers saying, well, I don't know how to play. My brother, go and learn. Get that blueprint. It's going to be part of that blueprint that is coming out. Get that blueprint and learn. The next thing we're going to look at now, the roles of the father, how the father gets involved. Remember, we've said the father needs to be involved as the priest in the house, the spiritual head of the house. We've said the father needs to be involved in play. And then thirdly, the father needs to build confidence. The father needs to build confidence. You see, confidence is one part that men are good in. That's one part that makes us men. And you know, recently I was telling some people that I will soon create a class for massaging the ego of a man, because the man is naturally confident. How much are you building this confidence in your children? Are you getting involved in that? Or are you leaving everything for the mother to do? You need to get involved in building the confidence of your children. How do you build the confidence of your children? Help them have good self-esteem. Don't talk down on them. Talk about the good things about them. Let them know that no matter what anybody thinks outside there are so many good things that they have. Recently, my son was asking me that when you were in secondary school, did anybody ever laugh at you? I said, yes. He said, what did you do? I said, I laughed with them. I said, I laughed with them. And after a while, they couldn't laugh again at whatever it is they were laughing at. I was teaching him something. Self-esteem. So teach your children self-esteem. This is so important as a father. Your daughters are going to go out there and they're going to see people When they mix, as they grow up, they see people, all kinds of other ladies out there, and they're going to sometimes feel inferior. You are the first person who needs to tell them that they are beautiful. You are the first person who needs to take them out. You are the first person to do a lot of things to build that confidence in them. Do it consciously, because they are going to need it. So build your children's self-esteem, and that will build their confidence. Of course, you also need to teach them public speaking. Teach them to be able to stand in front of people and speak. In my home, I remember when my kids were about, I think they were about 5. I remember 4 or 5. We started teaching them public speaking. We'll tell them to take a book, the simple books they were reading then, and stand in front of us and speak. And myself and their mother will sit down on the couch and stare at them, with straight eyes, just so that they would understand that they can actually stand in front of people and speak. We're not just teaching them to be able to speak to crowds. We're teaching them to be able to speak one-on-one dialogue to people. So you need to build the confidence of your children. Let me start running now, because my time is quick running. You need to be the disciplinarian in the house. This one again comes naturally, even though unfortunately it comes in the negative way. And you see, I won't stop talking about that book, Connect to Correct. In that book, Connect to Correct, it teaches you that you need to connect with your child to be able to change whatever it is that you don't like, or whatever negative thing is in that child. Connect first. So when I say you need to be disciplinarian, it doesn't mean that you are coming with the cudgel and the cane and everything and your slaps and no. Those ones just build hypocrites. And when this other book, The Discipline That Works, is another bestseller that you must get, because it teaches you how to discipline. The first one, Connect to Correct, teaches you how to connect with your children. The next one, The Discipline That Works, teaches you how to discipline. So fathers, I know a lot of mothers all around the world have these books. Yeah, those books have sold in thousands of copies all around the world. They are available on Amazon. They are available everywhere. But the fathers, please, if you are here listening to me now, ask your wife. She probably has a copy or copies of those books. Please start reading them. If she doesn't, then that's great opportunity for you to take the lead and get those books. So you need to be the standard of discipline in your home, and you need to do it properly so that you don't raise hypocrites. You raise people who, when you say no, they know it's no, and they know the reason why it's no. That way, the society we will be building will be a healthier one. Because you see, the discipline we're talking about also helps in their own self-discipline. Being able to discipline themselves to do things or not to do things. It will teach them to walk well. It will teach them to love well. It will teach them to do so many other things. You will never see a man or a woman succeeding. I mean real success, not the near success syndrome. Real success without discipline. Look at all the business Mongols that we have out there. Check their lifestyle. Every leader that is an icon out there, check their lifestyle. Discipline is right on top. You, fathers, you need to inculcate that in your children. So don't let your children just do anything they want to do. No, you need to be able to set the standard. I love that, fathers being the standard in the home. You need to be able to set the standard of what should be done and what should not be done, how they should be done and when they should be done. That is discipline. Create structure. Teach routine. Teach time management. My set of twins are going into boarding house, in September, and we've been teaching them routine. We want a situation where when they get into boarding house, when they meet the routine of boarding house, it's a walkover for them because they're already used to routine. And so my children are used to routine. In the morning, they know when to wake up, what to do. My daughter cooks for the whole house in the morning before she goes to school and still gets ready for school. And, so these are things that you as a father needs to take the front seat. You can't leave it for the women. The women have so much to do. And if there is any mother here who is listening in, who is watching, I say, well done. You guys do so much. And so the fathers, you need to step in. Don't kill this woman. You need to do your own part. I know that you do a lot. I know, I'm aware. And in fact, I was listening to Pastor Series session. It was so, it was so emotional, even for me. It was emotional for him. It was emotional for me because I know what fathers go through. But still, you need to take the front seat because that is who you are. The captain of a ship does not go under deck to sleep when the storm is out. Even when everything is calm, he's always on deck in the captain's chair, making sure that the boat or the ship is being steered aright. He can't afford to just say, oh, well, I'm the captain. I'm just going to sleep throughout this journey. If he does that, that ship is going to crash. So fathers, get involved in the discipline of your children. And lastly, fathers, prepare your children for the real world. Prepare your children for the real world. From time to time, I try to take my children out and expose them to the real world, show them things. The other day, I went out with my son and I said, hey, boy, we're not going out with any car today. We're going to jump public transport from one point to the other. And so for us here in Nigeria, we had the Okada, the bikes. So we started with the bikes. Then we went to the tricycles. Then we went to the taxis. Exposing him to the real world. So I know that we want to shield these children. I know the world, there are so many bad things happening in the world. You must know when to shield and when to let go. You must know when to shield and when to let go. So expose these children part-time, the appropriate exposure part-time to the real world. Teach them about the real world. Let them know that the real world is not all rosy out there. There are some bad things that happen and they need to know appropriately, age-appropriate knowledge. They need to know so that they said, you see, when I look at the world now and I'm seeing what's happening, and I'm seeing where things that used to be an abomination before now become normal, I ask myself, the people who are making this thing normal, where are their fathers? How did their fathers raise them? There must have been a problem along the line. Somebody somewhere didn't do his job. And so that's why somebody can wake up today and decide that, okay, today I'm a man, tomorrow I'm a woman, next tomorrow I'm a man, woman, and next tomorrow I can just be anything I want. Somebody didn't do his work, and that buck lies on the shoulders of the father. So we must learn as fathers to be completely involved in what happens to our children. We must learn. And have said it if you really genuinely don't know. Because look, these things don't come with us, like when you are born and, something is injected in you and they say you are now going to be a father automatically. No, you can learn. The TIP has the inner circle. This is a group of parents who register to have more intense learning about what it is to be a parent, how to parent. And this is run every year. Every year you have one session of the inner circle. Please reach out to the Intentional Parents Academy and register for the inner circle. Be an inner circle parent. and learn. Part of what they do there is they read books, they do courses, they have discussions, they have panels, they have, it's beautiful. And I listen in sometimes. And they have group studies and all that. It's like you are all in school all over again. Just that this time, you are in the school of parenting. So please, everybody needs to join in. We all need to learn. We are all learning. I said it at the beginning. We are all learning. Learning never ends. So we need to keep learning. We need to keep learning. So I'm sure details of the inner circle will be published so that everybody who wants to know more about it can know. I can't give you all that information now because of time. So please let it be published so that you can learn it. You should be part of the TIP inner circle. This is one way you can learn and grow. And also remember, there's the Involved Father Blueprint for the fathers, a special product just for fathers, tailor-made for fathers. These things will help you. And so I want to wrap up here, and I want to thank TIP, Wendy, and your team for such a lovely job. Thank you very much for the opportunity I've been given to be able to wrap up this beautiful conference that I've learned so much from. I thank all the speakers who were here before me. You all did a great job. And I'm going to sit down and watch again every single one of them just to learn. We must all learn. Every father here, remember, the outcome of your children eventually is going to be resting on how you are involved in parenting them. Don't leave it for the mothers alone. You have a critical role to play, a central role to play. You are the beginning of that family. You are the head of that family. You must take the lead in every single thing, in every aspect, and let your children see you doing it. Let them see you being involved. Let them see you checking their homeworks, checking their results when they come back, checking the way they dress, checking the way they eat, being there for them, playing with them, teaching them to be confident, teaching them the things of life, exposing them, teaching them about God, making them spiritual beings on their own, able to stand and relate with their Creator. Doing all this, and at the end of the day, you will smile and say, yes, I have actually done a good job. So thank you very much. This is where I'll leave it right now. And I learned that we'll have a session for questions. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Amazing stuff. Awesome input. I like the part of play. When you mention play, I have met your son, and I know I can relate very well when you say he can play. Okay, it's important because there's a lot of, okay, go to school. I was telling Uncle Ibuka yesterday about a son that went to school and said he couldn't go back home because his father said if he doesn't make 90, he shouldn't come home. There's that place of when we put performance, and meanwhile children learn better when they play. Children learn better when they play. Thank you so much, sir. And then the point about teaching real life. Andrew was talking to us, and the reason why some men are not prepared for adversity in their life. Just grow up thinking that life is just, but things happen in life, and we need to get prepared about that fact. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wrong parenting is responsible for most abnormalities in society. Yes, Kenneth. Thank you so much for that input. So, sir, the conversation about play and performance, help us balance it. How do you balance helping the children to play and also helping them to be optimum in their performances in school?
Okay, so that's why we have for the junior, younger kids, that's why we have the Montessori way of learning, because studies have found out that children must play, and in their play they are learning. And you see, that is why fathers need to actually learn what play is. Play for me is not sitting down in front of a television with a pad, a video game, and playing all day. That's not the play I'm talking about. The play I'm talking about is the play of actually going outside, playing games, playing board games. I'm not saying you can't play video games, you can, but you can't do that all along because your brain is not doing anything. So now play actually allows your brain to be creative. And during our time, we used to do all kinds of things. We used to play war outside. So you needed to learn strategies. That's where you learn strategies for. How do you fight? And the war will be on one side, the other team will be on another side. And we had this Malina 3 seats. Yeah. And we used to throw it at each other. So you always had to develop something. You see, in doing play, children are actually developing their brains. They're actually learning. So if you look at a child who actually plays outside, it's easier to teach that child because the child is already a thinking being. When I say a thinking being, of course, everybody is a thinking being. But okay, maybe I should use a creative thinking being. And so you see, that balance is there. So performance becomes better when your play is right. And that's why I say the fathers need to be involved. So don't just send your children out to play. You need to know what kind of play do they need to play. For instance, my children started learning chess very early. And now my daughter beats me in chess sometimes. I used to be the master. Now I'm afraid of her. When I play very seriously because she beats me in chess. I have taught her strategy. So that strategy is going to be good in whatever it is she's going to learn in academics. She's not going to learn academics cut and paste. She's going to learn it and ask questions when question needs to be asked, and become a creative being. So that's where I'll put the balance between play. So it is very important that when I say play, it doesn't mean just chase your kids out and say, go and play. No, you need to know what they're playing. You need to learn what kind of play is good and what kind of play is not so useful. So that's where I'll put it.
Thank you. That is so awesome. And I see you are very intentional with your kids and developing the brain power, issues about executive function. I see your daughter cooking and all of those things that she does. You're not talking about chess and stuff like that. I went to visit a family this afternoon just before this session, and it was an unusual environment. So because I want to bring it up, recently the neighborhoods that we live in don't permit some kind of play. We're talking in one of the sessions about playing with sand and all of those, but we have all these built up areas where even schools, you have schools that all the parts of the school are cemented and children are not even safe to play certain kind of plays. Then what kind of strategies can parents adopt in this case?
All right, so I'm going to start by saying choices.
Okay.
Choices. The choices we make today will determine the outcome of our children tomorrow. When I was building my house, I paid extra to have a piece of land beside my house to have a lawn and sand for my children to play. I had other options of where to live, but because I knew the importance of play, I had to create a play patch for them. Same thing with their school. The school they used to be in, at a point in time, like you said, it was all concrete. And we tried to get the school to see if they were going to move to somewhere else where the children could play. They couldn't. We changed their school. We are so intentional. We don't take chances. Every choice we make is very, very important. We changed the school to another school where they had, in fact, this other school, the playground is so big and so wide. And my children loved it. Immediately we changed them. School is a beautiful school. Proprietress knows what she's doing. I'm sure she may even be watching right now. And so the choices we make, you see, when children are young, there's some decisions you just don't make anyhow. You need to think it through. What happens to my children? It's not all about you. Okay, you want to live in a fancy estate that doesn't have a garden around it or
play
something.
Areas.
Then you need to look for a play area that is close to that place where the children, you can always take the children. It's going to be more work for you. Yeah, it's going to be more work for you, but you need to take them there. Yesterday morning, I was driving out and somebody saw me along the way and called and said, "Hey, where are you going very early this morning?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going for evangelism." "And where were you that you saw me?" He said, "Okay, I'm taking my son to the football academy." So almost every Saturday, he stands up. He has created time. He stands up, takes his son to the football academy to play. So choices. We need to be careful the choices we make, especially when our kids are young.
Are involved. True, true. That brings us back to the conversation about sacrifices, because sometimes these are not things that you will not naturally go for, but for the sake of the kids, you have to make those sacrifices, knowing that you are. That is so powerful. Intentional parenting. It's really intentional parenting. You have to be intentional about the choices that you make. It's been an amazing time this evening. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. Kolawole is also echoing what we're saying. Yes, thank you, Kola, for joining. Welcome back, Wendy. Welcome to the show. We're about to wrap up
Thank
now.
you. Thank you, Chidozie. Welcome. Well done, sir. It was quite an expository session. Thank you for sharing. We are grateful. We don't take it for granted that we're able to bring you in here without thinking twice. My team will say, "Can you help us beg the governor to be at this session?" And usually I will say, "I'm going to ask formally." And I do not want to take that for granted. We are grateful, sir. On behalf of the Academy, thank you so much. And, while you were speaking, I don't know how the profile got in. I also wanted to mention that Mr. Ologe is a marriage coach and runs an academy called the Marriage Seal Academy. A lot of the times when people have said to me, "Oh, you have such an amazing marriage relationship. Can you teach us?" Because parents come with different kinds of requests. And I say to them, "I'm not an expert in this one. I can't deal." So for all of you that have come to me to ask for a marriage coach, ask for marriage classes, you have him here. Mr. Ologe is the guru. I am not in that space at all. I don't even intend to be. All right. So you can meet up with him. He has books on marriage and all of that. And interestingly, Mr. Ologe happens to be my very first tester of all my products. So we create products in the Intentional Parent Academy. I just tell him, "Sit down. You need to learn this. And when you finish learning it, you implement it in your children. You come and give me feedback before we launch it to the public." And he will say, "Okay, coach." And then he goes and then comes with that feedback. And then it's that feedback that usually gives us the confidence to say, "Okay, this is what we need to do." I was sharing something. I'm sharing this to encourage a lot of fathers to also be able to look at how you can begin to listen to your wives. I remember we were talking about spiritual aspect just a few days ago, and very early this morning, he's woken up. He's taught the children a particular thing that we were talking about spirituality, and when he was talking about taking the lead, he meant every word. All right, I'm the person that is always being dragged. I'm the person that's always been dragged, as in, I could have the idea and I'll come and say, "Oh, this is it," and all of that. Before I could wake up the next day, Mr. Ologe is running with it. And, by the time I woke up this morning, I was saying, sharing it, "Oh, I've done this with the children already." I usually am the one that wakes up late last in the home. Yeah. So, yeah, and everybody gets to wake up first, and then I guess. So when I woke up, I was like, "What's happening?" and all of that. I just want to encourage every man to just understand that what we're looking for is leadership. Every woman is looking for leadership, and wherever there's leadership, will follow. One of the reasons why women are not following is because we can't see leadership, especially in the area of parenting, which is actually something that we really, really need to deal with. And I'm sure Mr. Ologe already shared a lot on all of that. And we're creating the Involved Father Blueprint. And one of the things we're also doing is to do those worksheets. So those worksheets is going to help you to run. Now, we are talking about implementation. I just shared something. By the way, when we did the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge, Mr. Ologe was there. I sit in the house and, I'm able, he could have just said, are you not the coach? You can be teaching your children all you know. But, he follows because he knows that he's the lead. So many of the times he's looking at me as, he says, you are my parent coach. So you're teaching me what to do. And I'm, running because I have a home to run. That's the way he says it. I have a home to run. So you are teaching me in your wealth of knowledge. I'm grabbing it. And when I get into the home, I just follow. And knowing that he's also getting, the right tools, right? So for all the courses we built in the academy, incidentally, he's been the first person who would say, I am in for this course. I remember when we built Walking Your Child Through Puberty, all right? He was the very first student, who got it. All right, so I call him matriculation number 001. All right, so it's whenever we're doing, the inner circle, and he will be like, oh, so that book. We have conversations on all the book. We have conversation on everything, all the things that happen. So he is an integral part of the journey, and he makes it easy for me. So it's easier for me to come out and say, I can do this, I can do that, and all of that. When it comes to things like, for example, he was sharing something on time management. I'm still not very as good as he is in time management. He's taught his children how to manage time so much. Many times when I come home, the children are able to section their time. And they are able to actually tell me, oh, daddy said that if you can do it from 3 to 4, from 5 to 6, and then you are able to get it and all of that. There are skills that a lot of fathers have that is being neglected. As in, it's just dying off because you're not getting into the whole system. All right, we're not getting into the whole system. Very important. And when he talked about choices, for me, Chedoze, that was it. The choices that we make for our children. The choices that we make for our children. And many times we don't think of it. We don't think of it from the beginning. When he was talking about independence, just in the recent times, we started letting our children to begin to go on their own, take public transport and move on their own. Something interesting, something that a lot of parents are, afraid of doing. This morning when we were scared. This morning when we were driving through church, I looked at him and I said, do you remember when the children had to walk? Our church is massive. Do you remember when they had to walk from children's church to my unit? They were about 6 or 7. And we smiled and he just said to me, God has been faithful. And that was our conversation right this morning when we were talking about it. What are the choices that we are making with our children? The choices that we make, daily choices. And these choices, Chedoze, is not even something far-fetched. We're talking about the choices we're making, every day. What we're saying every day. I'm surprised that throughout the governor spoke, he never mentioned there's always a price to pay. I would like you to talk more about that, sir. I don't want you to leave this conference without saying that. Mr. Ologe says many times when there are conversations in my house, a lot of sayings that he has. One is the function before fashion. It's like a saying in my home. And then there is, he also says that there is always something to sacrifice. So I'm going to allow you buttress on that point. There is always something to sacrifice. There's always a price to pay. Yes, we're listening to you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you again. Yes, truly in life, whatever it is you want to achieve in life, there's always something to sacrifice. Always. You never do anything that you don't sacrifice something. Even the people who do the negative thing, they must sacrifice something. You spoke about, Chedoze spoke about, play and all that. And I just told you part of what we had to sacrifice. We had to live in a place that would have lived somewhere else, but that was a sacrifice we had to make because we wanted to achieve a place for our kids. So there's always something to sacrifice in life. If you are not willing to sacrifice something, then you cannot get what it is that you're doing. For those of us, of course, almost all of us went to school. There was a sacrifice. Your other maybe primary school mates who didn't sacrifice as much as you, tomorrow you probably will see them and they won't be as successful as you. Maybe your secondary school mates couldn't sacrifice what you sacrificed to make sure you made the good grades. And I mean, the one that is most interesting is maybe your university. Your university mates did not sacrifice to make a 2-1. And then now, when they want to call for interviews, the first thing they ask is, did he make a 2-1? And then you now realize how important a 2-1 is. So there's always something to sacrifice. Even the people who do evil things sacrifice something to be able to do it. We hear people sacrificing all kinds of things, relatives and so on, to be able to achieve something. Same thing with the good things. And when we look at it from the point of the spiritual, God had to sacrifice his own son, Jesus Christ, just to make sure that we were redeemed. So, God is the ultimate example of everything we're doing. He's the standard. And so if God had to sacrifice, then you must sacrifice. So if you must get involved in parenting your children as a father, you must sacrifice a lot of things. You can't just go out, you'd want to, as a man, you want to go out every evening with your friends. My brother, some of that will need to wait till your children probably are grown and out of the house. So it's something to sacrifice. There's always something. If you are not willing to sacrifice, you are not going to be able to get that result that you want. And if you check the people who sacrificed, you will see the kind of results. My pastor, Bishop Oyedepo, will tell you how much he sacrifices, how much he spends on buying books that he reads. And you are wondering how he is so successful. He has sacrificed. He said there was a time he traveled to the US and, he had about, I can't remember how many $1,000 that he said he had. And he used it all to buy books, cartons and cartons of books. And when he came home, his wife asked him, what did you bring back from the US? And he said, I bought books. Those books have now opened 2 universities and more are coming up. You have the Covenant University that is number 1. You have the Landmark University that he didn't get there by chance. There was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
The man, Jim Ovia, if you read his book, Africa Arise, you will see the things he sacrificed to be able to reach the pinnacle that he is now. You look at people like Dangote, there are so many examples. Go and read their biographies. You will see what they had to sacrifice to be able to get to where they are. So for fathers, please, there are a lot of things you have to sacrifice. There are a lot of things I'm sacrificing now. There are a lot of things I would want to be able to do. There are a lot of things I want to be able to get for myself. But I have had to sacrifice this because I know that I'm on a journey right now for my children. When they are finally done, when I'm done with them and they've become adults and they're done with school, then I can start doing those things. And hey, that's why I try to get married as early as possible, so that I'll still have enough time to do those things that I want to do. All right. So that's something on sacrifice.
Thank you so much.
Sacrifice. And you made a very great point there, because the people that are also fighting the family institution are making great sacrifices to succeed at what they're doing. They're making a very great sacrifice. Some of them are not subscribing to what they are preaching, but they are sacrificing to make it work. But thank you so much, sir, for the input on sacrifice. And it's a great note for everyone to take out of Fathers Conference 2021. Over to you, Coach Wendy, so that we can round up.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ologe. We're going to take you out of the studio. Just thank you. And we're also going to play a thank you note video for all our speakers where we begin to round up. But of course, your time is fast spent, and we'll do our thing right. If you have enjoyed this conversation from day 1 to the last day, please hit the like button and make sure that you hit this like button and tell someone about the TIP Fathers Conference. Share your experience, tag us. And we know that men don't like talking plenty. We're hoping that you will talk once and at least tag us and tell us about the conference, and then follow the speakers and also continue this conversation. Remember that we have said that this conversation does not stop here. Now, I shared something. Somebody said that there's no one conference that is going to solve this problem. And I think I agree.
Yeah,
Until
true.
we commit to a process. Until we commit to a process, there's no one thing that can ever, solve it. I remember when the governor and I wanted to start working on our parenting journey, we created a group where we created an accountability system for ourselves, for both of ourselves. And we started to do a lot of things, holding ourselves accountable. He's very busy, I'm very busy. So we decided, no, we need to do this, hold ourselves accountable. And then we will put up courses that we're supposed to attend. And then we will check on each other and say, so are you here? So have you been able to? Currently, we're currently studying the Bible, we're studying, Exodus. And he started it, and then followed the lead, and we started sharing on it. So you can actually hold yourselves accountable on the journey. And then most importantly is the ability to agree that you want to learn. There is no parenting journey that strives without learning. You need to put and commit to learning. I want in a situation where we'll see many more men, come into the inner circle, many more men, take parenting courses and be serious with it. I was talking about Engineer Smart recently, and I was saying that Engineer Smart, I'm sure he's watching, Engineer Smart will be on a rig, and he will be, on a Zoom class. And, he said that, over the years, his friends have started asking, so why are you always learning, reading a book? While you're on a reading, sort of drinking with other boys and, gisting, you are reading.
He's paying the price.
A parenting book. He's paying a price. He has decided that I am going to pay a price. All right. He's when he's not at home in the 2 weeks, he uses it to refuel all the things that he needs to know, and then he goes home and he's like a champion. All right, I've seen him grow in the past 2 years. I'm not making jokes. He's more active than his wife. In fact, sometimes his wife will not review a book. And we'll say to him, we're going to take your wife out. As in, if she's going to repeat, we say, don't worry, I'm going to take my time and teach. We held him accountable when the wife was supposed to repeat a particular session. And he said to the academy, I will make sure that I bring my wife up to speed. And he did. Remarkable. Remarkable. And he did. I said, the wife is so lax. Even me, I envy the woman. I'm like, why would you be lax? She just, whatever. And it's so awesome. He's selling the ship so well. The pressure on the women is already so much. What the men can do is to, as much as
get involved.
Even get involved. Get involved. Get involved. There's no other way to say this. Get involved. When they tell you to read a book, read. When they tell you to, get into a class, take responsibility. Pay for a class. I'm having a conversation with, was it Chedozi? And I was having a conversation with a parent who wanted to bring his teenage son to your academy, Chedozi, the Teens Academy.
Okay.
And, I asked this mother, so where is the father? And he said, the father, if he hears about it, he's just going to be angry and he will not subscribe.
It's always my first question.
I was like, are you kidding me? So this boy will need to go through all of this. It's a puberty issue. It's a sexuality issue. The guy is confused sexually, and you're saying that the father is going to get angry? Are you kidding me? And the mother is just struggling. The other day, she was suicidal to that point. Wow. She was actually suicidal because of the things that she was going through. And, she can't even speak to her husband about it. I was like, wow, this is something. So, we have a whole lot going on. All right. Ibara is asking how we can join the inner circle. Just send us a chat. Send a chat to us, and we will give you all the details to join the inner circle. And we're also going to create a system that helps the men in the inner circle in 2022 as well, where we're going to have cohorts of men so that we'll be able to also have more efficiency as well as we
and
go
accountability. That's very important. We have talked about it in this conference.
Exactly.
Men need to get accountable.
Men need to become accountable.
That conversation were about, you are like the people you hang around, the company you keep. So men need to start keeping up. You can't keep company with I don't know what to give as an example, and then expect to turn out the other way. You will just turn out like your company. You hang out in the clubs, you turn out like them, and then go look at their kids all over. They might be succeeding in code, but go look at their kids carrying guns. You know what? When we talk about and share some of the statistics, some people feel attacked. In fact, I'm still going to talk about some. A few persons feel attacked, but that's the truth. The first question I ask when I meet a teenager is, tell me about your father. And once you go there, you find the problem. So after I listen to all of your conversation, tell me about your father. And most of the time, the fathers are missing. The fathers are missing.
It's just unfortunate. And it's a narrative we need to recreate. And the attacks are coming from the fact that the fathers are not available. The mothers are angry. She said, did you see the post on the community? How upset the mothers are, because men have refused to take responsibility.
To step up to the game.
Exactly. So we need to actually step up to this responsibility and do more. All right. Let's take responsibility for something. Start with getting this blueprint, this replays, this worksheet. Sit down with it. Produce something. Sometimes there was something that we did in the inner circle, creating a lunch plan, for the boys. We had a lunch plan in my home. I gave it to Mr. Ologe to recreate. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. When he was done, he runs it through me. It's his son. I usually will say, well, I didn't even come to your house with a child, and they don't even bear my name. That's what I tell my husband many times. They don't bear my name. I'm Onyenezi, and I'll bear Ologe. The children bear Ologe. Ologe is not my father's name. I know who my father is. He's still alive. So these are your children. So you need to take charge. All right. I was sharing in one of the sessions how my mother didn't even know the secondary school I went to. It's interesting.
Yeah, I heard that.
She didn't even know. She didn't know the primary school I went. She didn't come there. It wasn't her
business.
It wasn't her business. My father took charge. You guys need to get involved, no matter how busy. People come to me and say, oh, I'm very busy. Oh, Mr. Ologe is extremely busy. Yet I see him strive to be involved. I
think everybody has a role to play. Just as you were speaking, I think about the schools. When you go for PTA meetings, there are women there. I think even the schools need to start helping parents. Invite fathers for PTA meetings. Fathers should come and know what is happening with their sons in the schools that they attend. All of this it affects everywhere.
I agree. It trickles down. We need everybody, all hands on deck. Thank you so much, Chidozie. It's been such an awesome time with you.
It's been an honor.
You have just been amazing. Again, Chidozie is a team mentor who has worked with so many teenagers. In fact, when anybody comes to us and say, there's this boy that I said, don't worry, I have a team mentor that can just sort that out. And goes to Chidozie. Chidozie does such a good job, all right? He's a young, fine man. Of course, he knows that he's on a journey to mentor my son at some point, and he knows that already. So yes, and if you have young boys that need mentorship, you can contact Chidozie at the Teens Academy. And then, it's been such an awesome, journey. Apart from moderating, Chidozie was also at the backstage, making sure that a lot of things were fixed. Let me tell you, something that is, pretty very much interesting about my team, on this conference. They've done so well that, in fact, I called Chidozie just now. I just asked, did you get some rest at all? He just smiled and, continued, doing what he was doing. Some of us haven't slept. Some of us slept in the office. In fact, the first day, so this conference is not free. Nobody should come and say, oh, there was no free conference. No, we pay the price for it. And which is why you need to take responsibility. Because if you don't, then we have wasted our time, our money, our energy to stream on this, StreamYard. You need to pay money. It's not free. You don't stream free here, right? You need to pay money to be able to stream. All right, our time and everything. The first night, Chidozie was in the office from Friday to Saturday. In fact, he didn't go home till Saturday. That first night, my PA was in the office till 11 p.m. He didn't go home. I don't even know what happened to people like Precious, all right, who was, just, everywhere trying to post. I don't know what happened to people like Shira. Shira was at work in the UK, trying to, coordinate things, share posts and all of that. How about Joy? Joy has been, in all the sessions, trying to, put posts out there, trying to make sure that we get these things to run smoothly. I want to say thank you to every single one of you. I do not take this for granted. TIP is loud. TIP is this because we have a team that works. For me, that's what that I see. It's not about Wendy Ologe. TIP has nothing to do with Wendy Ologe. TIP is bigger than Wendy Ologe. Wendy Ologe is just a fraction, right? Wendy Ologe is just a fraction of what TIP is. TIP is large, and we want to say thank you. Someone is saying that sometimes it's not that men don't like being involved. The stress of making money and work is easy for some, but not for all. That's what we're saying. We agree that it's easy for some and it's not for all. We're also saying, sir, that you can get involved. You can try.
Go listen to the session that Emeka did. He addressed this issue about money. Go listen to that session.
Go and listen to the session that Emeka Nobis did. Emeka talked about the essentialism of life. Yeah. What is important at time? Does it mean that some of us are not looking for more money? My husband wants to make more money. And sometimes he will say, you know what? I'm going to leave this money because what is most important right now is that I connect with these children. You listen to Akin Robo saying that he turned down an event because he needed to be where the daughter was writing a JAMB exams. These are, some choices that we need to make, right? So yes, it doesn't come easy for people, but we can always not balance. Request what is essential per time. Especially, that's what is important. All right. So many times to every father who came out, I saw some fathers like Ibarra has been here from the first, stream to the last. We just want to say shout out to you, sir. It's been such an honor. He's been here.
I'm seeing Kola too. Kola Wole has been here.
Yes, Kola Wole too has been here. We have some fathers who have been relentless. We have Kenneth Ame, the fathers who have been relentless, who have come in here. Every single session that we're here, we want to say shout out to you. You are the real MVP. Thank you for being that involved, father. You being here means that you really want to do something. All right. So if you want to get the worksheets, you want to get the replays, and we've also decided that we are also going to give you the replay of the last Fathers Conference last year, so that you can also, work from there. It was also as explosive. So you get 2 replays instead of just one, both 2020 and 2021, and then you will be able to also get, start off your journey with just worksheets, begin to make a lot of progress. So we're just giving you for only 5,000 naira between now and Wednesday. The worksheets and all the guide will come out by Wednesday. And as soon as that is out, of course, we take this out of the market, and we have too much to do, so we're just going to have this from now till Wednesday. So if you want to actually pre-order, please go ahead and do that. Thank you to all the fathers. Thank you for being here. And to all the mothers who were peeping from the background, every single one mother, we saw you. You didn't allow us to have a fathers conference, but well done. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much. Suleiman, thank you for being here. We see all of you. We honor you. And happy Father's Day again and again. Chedozi, happy Father's Day to you.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the men that are on this conference. Also.
I see them. The women are here. Amakiwe, I see you. Clara, thank you so much for being here. And thank you. See you again in about a month. It's TIP annual conference, right? The TIP annual conference will premiere in July. The TIP annual conference is bigger, is larger, is massive, and everything you want to think of. It is 25th of July to 31st of July. That's when the TIP annual conference is going to get ready. We're going to start sharing, news about it. You want to actually set your clock. We bring you fire from all over the globe. And it's free. That's the good thing. So be here. We just want you to be here and stream live with us. Thank you so much for being here. And as we begin to round up, we're going to bring in the videos. And thank you so much, Chidozie, for all the tech, the videos and all of that. We are grateful. Thank you to everyone. And shout out to all the yadas, the parents in the inner circle. We call them the yadas. I see you guys. I see that you dragged your husbands here. Good one. Well done. Thank you. See you again at the Fathers Conference 2022. This is an annual conference, and we're going to be here every year. If you got value, make sure that you put the fire emojis in the comment section.
I can see some of those emojis coming now.
Yes, and make sure that you click the like button. Make sure that you click the like button, the thumbs up button if you got value here. All right, please put in the fire. Ibarra is already waiting for July. This is awesome. I've seen another firebrand father. This is just so good. We're going to use you to do celebrations soon. Well done, sir. I love your zeal. Thank you so much, everybody. As we begin to close, thank you, Chidozie, and have a good evening.
All right.